All right. So in this episode, we've got my dear friend Ra, and Ra and I have been working together since July of this past year, 2023, and he's been a rock star to work with. This guy just is a rock star. First off, with like time management, your time management skills are fantastic. I'm gonna ask some questions about this in here, but then also just like your ability to implement and just like take really good instructions and feedback and implement on those. So, man, it's been a journey, and I've been really grateful working with you up to this point. So excited to jam on this and just hear more about your story.
Yeah, man, same here. Excited to share and help others too who are watching and who also want to kind of join the program and get on the same train.
Cool. Awesome, man. So let's start off just like, where were you? If we started in July, what were you doing in like June of 2023? Yeah, like what was a day in the life look like?
Yeah, it was funny because I moved out from New York to California for a PT job like 6 months prior, and I was working, trying to get my foot in through the door, and just trying to like get acclimated to a new area. So I was working 40-hour weeks in a PT outpatient clinic, but since I didn't really know anyone here, I just got bored. So I was like, all right, let me just do some content stuff, and I was doing it by myself, and I actually hired an editor. So I was like kind of like working with her. And then July, I think I saw one of your ads. I followed you, and then you messaged me, and then I was like, dude, this is like perfect timing. So, and I was like, this is what I was looking for, and it was perfect timing. And I joined the program, and now I get to still work full time in person, but also have this online business. So now I'm not as bored.
Dude, I love that. I was similar when I started as a PT too. I was working at a cash-based clinic and was like, I have so much time and I could just wait till my like schedule fills up, or I could start just creating content and building a brand. And I ultimately fell in love with that and kept doing that.
For
But
sure.
yeah, man, that's cool. So in July is when you started. Tell me more about like when you started with us. What was your initial offer like? Like who did you want to serve?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to serve. I'm living in Monterey, California, so I wanted to serve kind of like the tech industry in San Jose. So, but that wasn't really a realistic model because I didn't really know anyone in tech. I was like, oh, I chose tech, so I'm going to choose people from tech. So, and then through your program, it's like it's easier to get started through looking at people in your warm network and just looking at yourself. So I was like, well, recently, the last 8 months, I lost like 20 pounds. So I was like, why don't I serve more people like myself and serve more people like within my network? So, I think weight loss and health and nutrition was a great avenue because, I have a background as a strength and conditioning coach. I started my own weightlifting club at college. So I had a background in personal training, strength and conditioning. So I was like, why don't I just stick to what I know and the people that I know and just go from there rather than starting like a new avatar or new niche or new population I'm trying to hit.
I remember that. I remember when you were telling me I want to do IT and or the people in tech space. And I was like, are you in tech? No, you knew some and you knew that they had financial resources to invest. You're like, I could do that.
Yeah.
And I think that as like a big thing, like a lot of fitness coaches be like busy entrepreneurs or like, high achievers. And I'm like, are any of you high achievers or entrepreneurs? Because if you cannot relate to that, people will smell that out. Like it's obvious. Now it doesn't mean that you can't like run paid ads and stuff like that to those demographics once you get to that stage. But yeah, I'm glad you kind of went the more like let's see who's already in my existing network and run with it because that did pretty well for you, right?
Yeah, so like a lot of like my network friends of family, moms, dads, people who are just like young professionals, and now I'm looking to work with business owners, and I'm slowly building that niche. So now I have at least a good like 5 to 7 business owners as my clientele. So you might not get to that avatar right away, but just start with people who are around you and people like yourself, and then eventually you can kind of get to like the busy entrepreneur or business owner or whichever you aspire to be. So start small and then work up to it. And also it's good practice just working with different people too.
Yeah, for sure. And there's one thing you said that I didn't know. You said you started a weightlifting club in college?
Yeah, I saw it's called Brockport Barbell Club. Do actually have the sweatshirt right here?
Dude, did you? No way, man.
Yeah, this is like the back of the t-shirt.
Snatch, clean and jerk, or everything?
Say it again.
Was it snatch, clean and jerk, or was it like?
Sorry, I should be more specific. It was mainly a powerlifting club, but we couldn't call it that because the organization that we were trying to get accredited through like the campus, they said like you have to be more inclusive. So we called it the Brockport Barbell Club, but we had a competition powerlifting team. So we would like sponsor people and like pay for like their onesies or their competition fees, and we would buy like our own equipment. Like we would have a budget, we had to fundraise, and we hosted like on campus like powerlifting competitions, and there was one more thing. Oh, and we were all like exercise science students. So like, we had students, faculty come. So we got just good practice, like training people. It was, we didn't get money, we didn't get paid for it, but as a student, it's just good hands-on experience teaching kids, who don't know how to exercise, how to lift.
Dude, heck yeah. Did you know that I did that too?
I know
Did you?
you, I know you, I knew you were a weightlifter. And I seen your pictures like on your story and like lifting some pretty badass weight.
Yeah, man. In college, we'll get back to your business, but I just was like, what? I didn't know that. Because in college, I did too. I started a weightlifting club, and it was snatch, clean, and jerk.
Okay,
At
cool.
it was the Mountaineer Barbell. Shoot, it's either Mountaineer Weightlifting Club or Barbell Club. I can't remember, but that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, mine was weightlifting, yours was powerlifting, but we did the same. Like we did
Yeah,
hosted meets. I would just like cold message a bunch of people, be like, hey, I'm hosting this event. Will you sponsor it? Like, and I got like Caffeine and Kilos to sponsor an event.
that's cool.
Got like Virus to sponsor an event. I just got a bunch of people just like I just like cold email, boom, and I was like, damn, you could do this for clients too, which I
Same
later thought,
principles. Yeah, same principles.
yeah. That's cool, man. Well, let's circle back to your business. So you guys you got started in July. Did you have any clients in July?
No, I had zero online clients in July. I was just working in person as a PT.
Nice. And now we're in April time. What does your current business look like now?
We have actively 25 clients, which is awesome. Probably, yeah, the highest that we've had since.
Dude, that's awesome. So
Yeah,
zero
hire. Yeah,
25 clients. That's huge.
yeah, onboarding someone tomorrow, so tomorrow will be 26.
Cool, man. Oh, wow. And I know your coach has been sharing that like you've been doing a really good job of like word of mouth referrals as like your primary way to grow, which I'd love to hear more about that if you're using a strategy or you're just killing it with service delivery.
Yeah, I've never even asked for a referral yet, which is probably bad. I probably should ask my clients for referrals, but yeah, they've just been sending me clients. Like, and the biggest referral source is honestly the barbershop, which is weird, because I my first client or my second client was my barber's coworker, and then my barber actually signed up, and he's lost 40 pounds up to date, and he's going for 50, and then like people are coming in like this guy's like a different human being. So I've had other people from the shop, like business owners, come in and go from there. And then I also have another guy who signed up with me, and he's made a massive change, 40, 50 pounds, and like his friends are asking me. And then I have like some mother-daughter accommodation. So it's just word of mouth and client delivery. Like I think I learned from my dad growing up, like, don't worry about the money, just worry about the client results, and then the money will come second. So I just really focus on, answering quickly, giving as much value and giving a good service. And then I know the money will come because I know I'm confident in the product and service that I have.
Man, that's like a mic drop moment right there. Because I mean, so many people focus on digital marketing and digital sales, and that's what a lot of what I teach too. And you can't forget about the delivery, right? Because if you have an awesome product, and that's what I want to talk on here next. But if you have an awesome product delivery and you're getting like life-changing results where people are losing all this weight, they're going to ask their friends, they're going to be like, how did you do this?
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear, like, walk me through when someone signs up to work with you. What does, like, day one look like all the way until they're hitting these big milestones? Like, what does your delivery look like?
Yeah, so basically, if someone is interested in signing up and they signed up, we sign them up to like an onboarding slash evaluation call. So we do a fitness assessment, we do a nutrition assessment verbally through Zoom. After that, we onboard them onto the software where they host all their new workout plans and a nutrition plan based on if they want to go on a meal plan or just follow some guidelines. Then we work around that based on like the questions they answer on the assessment on the onboarding call. After that, the program is about 4 months. So every month they get an updated plan from me. So every 4 weeks they get an updated workout and updated nutrition plan. after each month, we also hop on a quick 15 to 20-minute Zoom call to discuss the last 4 weeks, to discuss what's going to happen the next 4 weeks and what they did well and what they didn't do well. And I'm always asking on these calls, like, is there any more support that they would like, or anything that in the process they would like better? I joke around, but I encourage them to tell me that I suck, and I'm like, tell me, give me more, like tell me like what I can do better to help you get to your goal. And I give them a lot of like confidence and motivation, and we go into a little bit of mindset coaching too, kind of just like since I'm not with them in person, just motivating them through our monthly calls as well. And then they would repeat that process again for month two, month three, and month four. And then we usually take progress pictures every 8 weeks. So we have a first picture, 8 week picture, and then a 16-week picture. And then whether their goal is weight loss or building lean muscle, we go from there. And then I do check-ins with them on Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays is kind of like an informal check-in, really just checking to make sure everything's okay, or if they have a new program coming, anything I need to adjust from the first 2 days. And then on Sundays, I send them a personalized Loom video, um, reviewing their workout, like if they entered weights or if they entered videos, giving them feedback on that, and anything that I could provide more value. So the nutrition piece, if they're not going on a meal plan, giving them more tips and education on nutrition as well, rather than just kind of giving them guidelines.
Gotcha. Man, it sounds like you've got a lot of really good systems like in play, or at least at least it sounds that way. So I'm curious, like, how did you develop this?
I was just kind of seeing what was working for people and what was not working for some people. Like some people like more touch points, some people don't like so many touch points. So it's really just asking them like how do they like to communicate? And I have some clients who message me every day, which is okay. And I'm someone who's going to respond. I say in my contract 24 hours, but it's really less than 2 hours. And honestly, if I can do it within 30 minutes, which is great because I know that's not might not be sustainable but when I'm starting a business, like my main goal is to give fast and good results. So I'm always constantly messaging them. The only time I probably won't answer them is when I'm sleeping, and Friday nights when I'm with my girlfriend on date nights. That's pretty much it.
That's awesome. That's a great tip though. Like, because I know some people are like so they'll want to be rigid with their time and their boundaries when they start a business, and they're
Yeah.
like, I only answer messages here. I only do check-ins on this day. I only do this, and it's like, man, like if you want more clients, just deliver exceptional results. Like over deliver. Like if you say your communication timeline is 24 hours, can you cut it in half and just
Hmm.
exceed the expectation?
Yeah.
And eventually, yeah, like if you've got 100 plus clients, then you're going to have to make some changes, but at that stage you're going to have a different level of demand as well. So like and two, like you're probably still going to over deliver, like knowing
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean. It might be 2 hours that you're fine, but it could be 4 or 5,
Yeah. 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 So like, I think people need to be less rigid and be more flexible, and just like if you got a few clients, give the best result for those few clients. And then word of mouth is really, really strong. Like I didn't really see the word of mouth and referral kick in until at least like 5, 6 months. Like these past 2 months, like referrals have been coming in like crazy. But it takes time. And if you're in the health and fitness and rehab space, change takes time too. You need at least like 3, 4 months sometimes to make a significant change for others around your clients to notice.
Yeah. Well, you said something there. I want to pick up on some more. Is like the first couple clients can almost be like the hardest, right? Like to learn how to do sales, to learn what am I even delivering on. So, you went from it sounds like 0 to 25 clients in about 7, maybe 8 months or so. So, how did you get your first 5 clients?
How did I get my first 5 clients? It was a mixture of using kind of like your script and your phone. Your program really gave me a lot of structure. Sales conversations, how to talk to people in the DMs, what to focus on, value, right? Not just worrying about getting them to sign a client, but also can you help the person, right? So, I've denied people as clients because I just don't think they're a good fit. Because if I sign someone and if I can't help them, then they're going to talk about my business and how I didn't help. So it's sometimes good to like deny a client because your product and your result is going to be out there. But if you can just give value, give free education. I've had conversations with people who said no at first, but then they messaged me 90 days later. So just because I'm being presentable in content and being presentable in the DMs with them. So I think it was a combination of in person, right, using my in person network and having conversations through the DM. So I'd probably say two in person, and then the other three were in the DMs, right? Just having a conversation, getting to know them. If they had a problem they needed help solving, if I thought they were a good fit, I could help them with that. Invited them to a call, talked about the process. They said, and they thought it was a great product or service, and they thought it could help them too. And they signed up for a 4 month program. And I look at numbers too. So like out of like all the clients that I've worked with, so probably like 35 so far, we have like an low 80% percentage, like 82, 84% like success rate of like people who, like on their goal setting call, be like, all right, what would make you happy at the end of this call? Right. This is the goal. And then I look back at that. I'm like, did this person achieve that call? And like about 82, 84% of the people have accomplished their goal.
Dude, that's great. There's some more threads to pull from there. So first off, with like how you said like pushing some people away who weren't good fits.
Yeah.
Man, I think that anytime people think about a sales call, they think of a sales call as like, oh, this person's gonna try to sell me, or this person's gonna like coerce me into working with them. But I can't tell you like the percentage of calls that even our team takes that we don't pitch on. It's probably close to 50%
Wow.
because we have to filter through, and we can filter through the best we can with DMs, applications, but sometimes you just need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that whether I want this conversation to go next is talking about how how you felt like having those conversations in the DMs and getting people on calls, because there's a big mindset shift that has to happen when you start a business, is that you have to sell, right? And if you're new and you have that preconceived notion of every time I'm getting somebody on the phone, I'm trying to sell them versus I'm trying to figure out, can I help them or not? It really does a big disservice to you and to them, right? So like for us, like my mindset going into those calls is like, I just want to see if I can help and want to see what's going on. And if I can, I might offer you an offer. I might say, hey, you're not ready yet. You need to go talk to so and so, or you need to go do this for 3 months and then come back. So I'd love to hear kind of like your mindset and how that was for you. Like first off in the DMs, talking to people in the DMs, and then also having sales conversations when you first got started. What did that look like?
It was nerve-wracking, and I didn't know how to talk to people online. I think growing up, I wasn't the best texter, so getting better at formulating a conversation online and going through a step-by-step process. And your script helps a lot with that. And giving a lot of value first and getting to know the person, right? I think in the beginning, I would just focus on the sale and getting money, right? And I was like, oh, I just got to get money, got to build a business. But like, it's not about that. And I think you put more pressure on yourself when you do that. Like, you're trying to put a pressure on yourself with a dollar amount. Like, oh, I'm trying to get this client to sign up for a 4 month, 1,000 or 1,500, 12, whatever it might be. And you put a lot of pressure on yourself and you might like fumble the bag. And I felt that pressure. But if I just take that pressure off of myself, like, I'm having a conversation with this person. I'm not doing it for the sale. I'm doing it to get to know this person, right? I'm doing it to see if I can help this person and I can actually prove to myself that my product and service actually works. And especially in the beginning, right? You got to see if you actually have a business to see if you're good at what you do. Like, right? People are going to buy from people who are good at what they do. So, anyone can start a business, but can you maintain that business based on your products, results, referrals? So, it's also kind of like a test to yourself. Okay, don't really just worry about the money in the beginning. Worry about if you can get a result. And then, have the conversation from there. But focus on having the conversation, not focusing on, trying to get an X amount of dollar, delivering a great result and great product or great service, and then more money will come.
That's good. Did you discount any of your services or do like a beta launch for your first couple clients?
And I had no problem with that because even though I had experience as a strength and conditioning coach and weightlifting coach, like I never trained anyone online. So it's like you're going from an in-person business or in-person experience to an online experience. So it's totally different, right? You're not with them. There's only so many things you can control, but how can you control what you can to still get the same result? So I had no problem discounting it because I was also just trying to see if it was going to work for me or if I was good at it.
It's huge, man. I think too many people want to charge like premium pricing, and it's like you'll get there, right? But can you get people results, and do you actually like it? right? So like if you came out of the gate, you're like, yep, my rates are, $2,000 for 4 months or whatever, and you weren't good at it, and your communication was bad, and like you didn't have fun, and now you're stuck with this client. Like you're not having a good experience, they're not having a good experience. So it's like I do think it's important to charge something, when you get started, and you didn't charge like too low by any means when you get started, but it creates a little bit of buy-in from that person, right? Or not even a little bit. It does create buy-in from that person if they invest even like $50. It doesn't matter, right? But once you can prove to yourself that you're going to be consistent with creating content, having sales conversations, um, giving good turnaround speed on your support to your clients, and you're getting results, then you can start to increase that rate.
Yeah, and I've recently started charging more because there was such more demand, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't do it for that discount rate anymore. And it also kind of like helps with your conviction on sales calls, right? Like, so now I'm like, I mean, I was confident in the beginning, but like I'm even more confident in the price and in the product and service because we have X amount of testimonials, X amount of results. So on the sales calls, we show them the results, and people are bought in because the results speak for themselves and the testimonials speak for themselves. And when you're talking to someone, you want to buy from someone who's confident and kind. So if you're confident and kind, and this person's sure that you're going to help them, then absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. You said something there where it was like, because I know what you're doing this on the side too, right? So
Yeah.
when Raw here is a full-time physical therapist still, and he still responds to people within 2 hours. That's impressive. And you have this business that's got 25, 26 clients, active clients tomorrow on top of what you do. So I'd love to hear how do you manage your time to like to do that, to create content, to have sales conversations, to coach these clients, and still work. I imagine probably 40 hours a week, right?
Yeah. Um, 40 hours a week in person, 20 to 30 on the online business. But you got to have support, right? You got a really supportive girlfriend. My mom and dad are the best living examples, right? My dad's a grinder. He works so hard. When I was growing up, he would work like 80 hours a week. My mom would work like 60 hours a week, take care of me and my sister, clean the house, do a lot of what moms do. So, just, growing up in the atmosphere and then having a supportive girlfriend of like, on weekends, I'm not traveling that much. I'm going to be on working on Saturday and Sunday, and she's okay with that. So if you don't have a support system or a living example to live by, it's going to be tough. And then also my work is flexible. On Mondays, I work a short day, so I work 6 hours so I can focus on the other days to work on the business. Tuesdays are my long days, so like 8 to 6, I'm in the clinic, so I don't really have time to do much with the business. Maybe just in the morning or at night. Wednesday's another short day, but I can spend the whole morning on the business, right? A good 5 6 hours, and then I go to clinic, and then at nighttime I get to work another 4 or 5 hours or whatever. Thursday's another long day, can't do much. Friday's kind of like a wash, and then Saturday, Sunday are my 8 to 10 hour days. But if you like what you do, it's not bad, but it's definitely a sacrifice. It's definitely, I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's definitely hard. There's moments where I wanted to quit, and I don't want to work that many hours, but like you remember why you're doing it and why you want to do it, and I do enjoy it. I definitely do enjoy it, but it's hard work. But just trying to structure around your schedule and you know being efficient in your time. There's some days where like I had a plan and I would be like, nope, I'm not doing this because I'm too tired, and I know whatever I do is not going to be good. So sometimes you just got to shut it down too.
Yeah, it's like I try to have my schedule all blocked out, and I do a decent job of sticking to it. But yeah, man, if you can't force something, if you're just not feeling it, and if it's especially if it's a creative thing, of like,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to create content, and you're like, I feel like crap. Like you're like, oh, probably not the best idea to create content, because then if you post that, everyone else is gonna feel your energy of feeling like crap. So it's like, all right, what can I do in this time block instead? Do I need rest, or can
Yeah.
I put this to like sales or client fulfillment and just kind of reorganize my schedule to fit that back in like later on in the week?
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the time management piece, like before I started the business, like I was watching TV at night. Like I was like watching like binging shows, and I was doing a lot of stuff. Now I don't do that. I just work on the business, which is fun for me. I'd rather work on the business than watch a TV show, right? It's more meaningful to me. It's more fun to me. So there's going to be sacrifice. You might not be able to travel as much or do stuff on the weekends or at nighttime, you might have to sacrifice some things. But if you really enjoy it and you have a end goal in mind, then you'll do it. But even if you work 40 hours a week, there's just so much time in the week. If you really break it down, like, and if you really write it down, like blocking out on your schedule, like you'll be surprised of how much time you have, right? With TV, phones, and hanging out with your friends, or maybe not going to the bar every Friday night or Saturday night. Like time adds up. So people have more time than they think, um, in my opinion.
Yeah. How much time do you think you absolutely need to start a coaching business based off your experience?
Just to start, man, you gotta take action in a little bit. I'd say like at minimum 10 hours a week, right? 10 hours a week, like, learn some simple systems, take action on them, and do that over a 3 to 6 month period. And I think you'll add more hours because you enjoy it or you see the benefit of it.
Yeah. And 10 hours you can add on the weekend. I know people hate that. Like, and if they're not willing, if they're working full time, right?
Yeah.
If you're working full time, and you're not open to giving up the weekends, it's gonna be really hard for you. And you could do it. You just got to wake up really early and you got to work after hours. But I really like blocking. Like when I started, I woke up really early. That was what I did. Is I woke up really early. I would learn in the mornings. I would go to the clinic, and if a patient didn't show up, I'd implement something. I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna be in the DMs, or all right, I'm gonna just put a piece of content together. But yeah, you've got to be flexible. And if you're super rigid and not open to creating 10 hours of space in your calendar, it doesn't matter how good you are at marketing, sales, and fulfillment, it's not going to get done, you
Not
know?
gonna, yeah. I mean, if you don't want to give up the weekends, 2 hours a week, 5 days a week, that's 2 hours of your nighttime routine. Just work a little bit if you don't want to give up the weekends. And then you might not have to give up every weekend. Maybe one weekend you might have to split it up, 4 hours or 5 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and then that one weekend you don't, and then other weekend you might. But like you said, I think the theme of this is be more flexible and don't be so rigid. If you want something extraordinary, go do extraordinary things.
Yeah, I love that. Now, where do you see yourself going in the next 6 to 12 months? Because you're working about 60 to what I heard is like 60 to 70 hours a week right now. It sounds like you like it. It sounds like there's days that are hard, but where do you see this like evolving to?
Yeah, so since I'm a dual PT and online health and fitness coach, but I would love to combine both. I got a couple clients who are recovering from Achilles tendon surgery, some people with back pain. So, it's opened the doors for me to see like even you can do like kind of like online rehab along with like health coaching, like fitness and nutrition coaching on the side. So I'm not sure if I want to do it full time online or maybe just develop a hybrid model or open up my own clinic and do this online model. So the opportunities are endless, but I'm glad that I have. This is a good problem to have, right? So I'm happy there's more opportunity with that, but still going to be working full time the rest of 2024 and going strong with the online business. Goal is to by the end of the year gross over 100K online. It's a little aggressive goal, but I think it's doable, along with working full time. But I think that it's possible. And then for 2025, have a real assessment of like it. When I first started, I didn't think this was possible, but you can make a real good living just online as a physical therapist or a health and fitness coach. So that is a real possibility. It just comes down to like, what do you like? Do you like the in-person connection? And for me, I do. So maybe a hybrid model might work for me, but I definitely don't want to work full time as a PT forever. So there's going to be a point where I'll have to scale back the in-person and work a little bbit at least.
Yeah, even if you dropped from 40 hours to 30 or 40 to 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I like, yeah, because you're different than a lot of the clients we work with. A lot of the clients we work with are like, the moment that they're making the money that you're making, or have 20 clients, they're like, I'm out, you know. But it does sound like that's a really important part of like your enjoyment and satisfaction and fulfillment is from like working with people in person, and I think that's really awesome that you're able to balance both.
Yeah, and it's a great referral source. So like I have patients who hop on the fitness and nutrition. Like I can't tell you how many times people come in with like hip pain, and it's like maybe not because it's osteoarthritis, but maybe because they're overweight. So
Mhm.
maybe they go on a fitness and nutrition program, or maybe if you're working with an athlete who you got them better out of pain and basic functioning, but now they can go on a strength and conditioning protocol, or someone who is just more interested in or who needs more support on their nutrition, right? So there's endless a way of working with people from physical therapy in person to also if you have a background in health and fitness coaching.
Love that, man. Yeah, you're doing great. I'm like super proud of you. I was really excited to invite you on today just to hear from you, and also I knew you had some nuggets on just like when Mallory shared with me how you're growing. I'm like, I want to hear, and now I hear it's primarily because you're just delivering such good results, and the fact that you're even tracking the success rate of like, hey, this is the success rate most people have. Like that is such a powerful sales and marketing asset to say, hey, this percentage of people that we take on because we only take on people we know we can help get
Mhm.
this result. I think is something that like I took away from this. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to use more nuggets in the sales calls to because I know I have a good product and service, but you just got to show people that you do too. So, some it's just giving more fuel to the fire and showing people like, hey, this is going to work for you. Just trust me. These are the results that someone who's similar to you, and you can find this similar result if you commit and let me help you.
love that. So let's close this thing out. What I'd love is, if you have any tips for somebody who's like in your shoes, like you were in June, July before you started with us, what's the number one piece of advice you give somebody who's looking to get started online and isn't sure what to do, or maybe isn't even sure if this is the right move or model for them? What would you tell them?
Join Matt's program.
Yeah.
um, but first, I would say if you have a skill, like it's easy for people to just, oh, I'm going to start an online business, but you gotta be good at what you do. Like even if like I know PTs, physical therapists, like it's kind of like the analogy with doctors, right? Like doctors go through all the schooling, but they get very little education on nutrition. Physical therapists in person, like we don't get a lot of training on strength and conditioning or personal training in physical therapy school. So if you're a physical therapist or if you're a fitness coach, first make sure you have the in-person reps, I would say, or have some type of experience, right? Or if you're going to go online, be, be open to working with people for free or at a discounted rate to get that experience, right? But first, you got to get experience and have confidence that you can deliver a result. Second, keep it really simple. I mean, I think your program is great for someone who's starting, gives you really good structure, really good systems. Um, it's pretty much, translatable to like any health and fitness space, right? If there's a demand for it, right, which your program talks about, like, hey, make sure if there's a demand for this or if there's a market for this, then you can pursue it. And then third, I would say just take action and be patient. And I think someone else in your program, Ben, he always talks about do the biggest needle moving task. And whenever I ever see him, I think about that. And whenever I'm on the work or weekends working, I'm thinking about, okay, all right, I'm looking at my whiteboard. What's the biggest needle moving task? Okay, I'm doing that. There could be 10 things, but just do that one thing and do the simple things consistently, 3 to 6 months, and your life will change.
Boom, fire, mic drop again. I love that. That's good, man. Yeah, let's close this thing out. That was a great way to end it. Raw, where can they find you, man?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Rahul Bathija, Rahul Bathija. Don't have a big following either, so if you DM me, I'll probably respond. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to help and happy to kind of give my experience through Matt's program. Matt's the man. He's got great coaches too. Shout out to Mallory. She's my coach too. So she's awesome and fun to work with.
Well, thanks, man. We have loved working with you. If we could get like 50 more Raws, we would take them all.
Means a lot, man. Means a lot.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this. If you guys have any questions for me or Raw, hit us up. You can find me at Dr. Matt Shiver on Instagram. All right.
Cheers.
Peace.